Good morning, friends. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Lauren, and welcome to Spoonful. So today we are in the kitchen. We have a couple of canning projects that I normally have done way before the middle of July that I have to get done. It's quintessential to how we function for the rest of the year, into the winter and into the next year. But first, I have to get some requests made. One of the requests is chocolate chip cookies. We are heading out of town to go to the beach for 4 days, and one of the best things to eat is super melty chocolate chip cookies, making a pure mess on the beach. And I do it every year. Every time we go to the beach, we have chocolate chip cookies. Nothing special because we eat it all year long, but for some reason it just tastes extra sweet under the heat of the sun. All right, so I'm gonna hand mash this butter into some brown sugar that I just mixed up myself. Beautifully kind of mashed up butter and brown sugar, and we're gonna go ahead and add all the rest of the items. Stop eating all the chocolate chip. We need to end the cookie. There we go. Now we're gonna roll it up and get in the freezer, okay? All right. I have like the worst lighting in this kitchen. A big pretty window here and then like fake lighting. But nonetheless, we are mixing up some more brown sugar because we are going to make a big batch, or pretty much a normal batch, of blackberry barbecue sauce. So all you have to do is add molasses to sugar, and that's how you get brown sugar. I could pour the molasses directly into the recipe. I don't have to mix it, but sometimes when I do this, I end up with more brown sugar than the recipe calls for, and I can just store it in my container. Because packed brown sugar is different than loosely scooped. Okay, so all the brown sugar is mixed up, and I'm pulling our blackberries out the freezer. If you're new around here, we have wild blackberries that grow in the back of our property, and we collect them throughout June so that in July we can turn around and make this barbecue sauce. We made some ice cream out of it already, strawberry blackberry ice cream on the day of fresh picking, but now we will make some blackberry barbecue sauce. This is a little over a pound mushed up in here, so we're going to add that to our lovely crock pot. This is one of the best ways that we're able to make barbecue sauce because it's a 2-for-1. I can throw everything in here and move on to the next item in the kitchen. I do not have to watch this batch one. All right, so now that all the blackberries are in the crock pot, we're going to add the brown sugar. I will put the measurements on the screen for you guys when I sit down and type it all out. Next, you need to add a whole onion. Last summer, I had canned or pickled some onions. We love them. We only have a couple jars left. So I'm going to go ahead and add this whole half pint in. And just a little glug of my own apple cider vinegar. In order to keep this nightshade free, our seasonings are going to be a little different. I have cumin. This is onion powder, garlic powder, and oregano mix. and then Worcestershire sauce. Worcestershire sauce. And you can also substitute this for tamari or soy sauce. And then a bunch of ginger. This is, I don't know, 3 inches, 2.5 inches. Molasses is already in it, but I have like little remnants. Little remnants in this jar. I'm gonna add some hot water to this to get it kind of soft, and then pour that in. So let's get all this added. I've been making fruit barbecue sauces for the last 10 years due to my husband being allergic to nightshades and having different reactions to nightshades. So I've done plums, blackberries, peaches, cherries. I even tried apple. Apple didn't turn out too good. I would not recommend that one. But blackberries, plums have been my husband's two favorite. And that is probably my best recommendation is to try that. Now, blackberries can be expensive. I get it. But we picked these from our yard. So this is essentially just the cost of all the ingredients that goes into the jars. Once you put as much ingredients as you want, you can double it if you would like. The next thing you want to do is get it in a crock pot, simmering nice and slow. And my recommendation is once you are about halfway through the time, I would say 3 hours on low, go through with a potato masher or a fork or the back of a ladle, excuse me, and mash it all up. You could also use a blender. And the next thing you want to do is either simmer it in your crock pot like what I have, or simmer it on the stove. Strain all the liquid out once it has reduced and gotten thick. Now it's time to freeze it or can it. In our case, we got a 1.5 pints, and it was perfect. Good morning. Today I'm going to start this off with getting this head of cabbage chopped up with this onion and get it fermented. I was going to pickle it and get it canned, and my husband said, please don't. He prefers it to be fermented. And so to honor his wishes, and because he wants to eat it either later today or tomorrow, I'm going to go ahead and get this done. Already washed up, so we're just going to go ahead. There is a difference between fermented cabbage and when I can it as a coleslaw. The coleslaw mix has a vinegar brine to it. We typically do a 2-to-1 brine where I've used 2 cups of apple cider vinegar to 1 cup of water. We have also done a brine with some white wine vinegar. That's pretty good too. But that's the difference when you can it. When I ferment it, what I'm doing here now is I'm going to add a salt mixture, making it heavily salted, adding water to it and let it sit out underneath a cloth or a coffee filter so that the air provides all kinds of general bacteria to the food. This method will provide sort of a tangy taste versus a vinegary taste. When fermenting, I do want to let you know that you want to use salt that does not have a caking agent added to it. As pure of a salt as possible. That allows for the actual food to ferment. If not, the caking agent will probably clump the food. I'm not quite sure. I don't really buy that salt that often. Currently in the house, we have Redmond's real salt. Okay, I am home from the farmer's market, and I am going to actually get the sauerkraut into this jar. When you are fermenting food, it is best to not only start with a clean jar, but a sterilized jar. If you have a dishwasher, your dishwasher can actually have a sterilized setting. If not, you can boil the jar. And so what I do is I boil them often, and then I just cover it until I'm about to use it, like now. So while we were gone, I was able to get this all fermented, and we're going to go ahead and put this inside the jar. This is going to make its own brine over time. I'm going to actually set this out on the counter for maybe another day, and then we will taste it and throw it in the fridge for us to finish scooping out of over the next, I don't know, until we finish it. This is a half-gallon jar, and for my family of three, this may be a month. Maybe 3 weeks. My husband and my son really love it. Matter of fact, if it is salty and briny enough, they will probably want some for dinner tonight. So just letting you know, it is not going to last too long. I tried to do about 4 of these before we hit the winter months. This year I'm going to actually can some coleslaw mix and try to get 4 half-gallons or 3 half-gallons in the refrigerator by the time we hit Christmas. But like I said, the boys love this stuff. All right. I finish off the week with some refrigerated pickles, sort of Asian style, with a splash of sesame seeds, and we add in sesame oil. So delicious. And I can't forget another summertime favorite, which is soaking my vanilla beans, getting ready for Christmas. And then by Christmas, you will have vanilla extract to add to whatever you need, or you can gift it away in small, neat jars. Take care.